Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we are going to do another episode of Bites and Nibbles with Breck today. I know you're a little confused because usually my cooking segments start in the kitchen, but today they're going to start in the garden. Now, those of you who've been watching for a while know that this year in my garden I planted some jalapeno peppers and serrano chilies in here. They haven't done much at all this year, which has been a little disappointing, but I think they were kind of freaked out by the nature of the weather this summer, and I think that kind of stunted them because they actually seem like they're getting ready to do stuff now. There's flowers all over this thing, so maybe we're just going to get our peppers a little later than I thought. I also planted tomatoes, and they have done absolutely nothing, even though there's a bunch of flowers on them. The plants seem healthy, but no fruit yet. But the one exception and the one success has been my okra. And my okra has produced so much right now that it's hard to even keep up with it. I'm getting probably between 4 and 8 okra off of this every single day. And I have a lot of okra in the freezer right now because what I've been doing is slicing it up and then freezing it so that I can use it at some point in the future. But yeah, I definitely can say that these okra have really produced. Look at that one right there. That one's like 12 inches, well, 6-7 inches long here. And I mean, the plants are, look at that plant over there. That one is probably going on 9 feet. You know, I got the camera right now at eye level with me and I'm peering up at it, and that's a good 3 feet above me. So that plant is 9 feet tall. And look at the okra on that. And we still got flowers up there, so it's still doing its thing. And this has been a very successful harvest on the okra. So successful, in fact, that I'm kind of struggling to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't want to just all freeze it. And I've been talking about that a little bit on the live streams. And one of our viewers, Barbara Francis, actually sent a pickling pickled okra recipe to me through Facebook. And I said, you know what? I'm going to try that. We're going to cut off some of the freshest, brand newest okra off of this plant, and we're going to pickle this a little bit. Now, I'm also going to pickle some of my sliced okra that I've got in the freezer, but you know, that's what we're going to do today. So let's go look at our ingredients. Yeah, so this is what the harvest has looked like so far. As I mentioned, I've been slicing them up and putting them in the freezer, and yeah, I got 8 bags of okra right now. And I don't think the plant's done yet. I think it's probably got another month or so before it stops producing. So yeah, I got to figure out something to do with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as I said, I'm not sure if I like pickled okra. I've never had pickled okra, so I want to try it, but I don't want to get rid of a whole bunch of okra and then find it's something I don't like. So I think I'm going to cut the recipe in half, and I'm going to actually do 2 kind of varieties. I'm going to do some of the whole okra that I'm going to cut off the plant today, and it'll be, you know, like a whole okra stalk, or maybe half an okra stalk, because I don't think the whole ones will fit in the jars I have. But I'm also going to do a jar or 2 just of the sliced ones. So I'll take one of these little baggies of okra, and we'll do half of it is whole okra and half of it is sliced okra, and we're going to give this a test and see what I think. Alright, so here's the ingredients for our pickled okra. First off, I'm going to use some of my frozen okra and some of the fresh okra I picked just this morning. Some dill, some fresh dill. I actually had to look around to find this. First place I went didn't have any. They had dried dill, and I probably could have gone with that, but I did find a place that sold fresh dill and got that. Some cumin seed, some red chili flakes, a little garlic, a couple of serrano chilies, some apple cider vinegar, and a little salt for taste. Now, the first thing I got to do is prepare my ingredients a little bit. As I mentioned, I'm cutting this recipe in half because I want to make sure I like pickled okra before I make a whole bunch of it. So I'm going to cut the stems off of this, off of the fresh okra, and since my jars are little half-pint bottles, I'm probably going to end up cutting these in half to put them in there. I also have to grate up the dill, break open some of the garlic cloves. Now I'm going to do a little something different here too, because usually you just put the whole clove in as a single piece. I'm actually going to chop it up and put in little chunks of garlic in there. I think that'll spread the flavors. See, I put garlic in when I did the jalapeno slices, probably a year ago, and I just really wasn't that happy with the garlic flavor. So I think if I chop the garlic up, I'll get better flavor. And then I also have to cut my serrano chilies in half, because each of these jars is going to get 1/2 of a serrano chili. Alright, so successfully chopped up and ground up all of my green ingredients. So as I said, I had the chopped okra from the freezer, the fresh ones that I just picked off the bushes today, and I chopped those in half. I took my serrano chilies and quartered them. The recipe says half them, but I'm going to quarter them just because I think more surface area on the liquid is going to give you a little bit more burn. And then I've also chopped up my dill and my garlic. And so now I'm going to just kind of fill up these 4 jars with all of these ingredients and get them ready. Now to prepare for this, my dishwasher has a sanitize function. And so I took all these jars and ran them through the dishwasher and sanitized them. When you're dealing with something like this that's designed to last for a while, you want to start with a really clean environment. So sanitizing it makes a lot of sense. So like I said, I'm going to put 2 of these serrano chilies into each of the jars. We're going to divide the dill and the garlic evenly between the jars. We're going to put one of the jars is going to have the okra slices, or the okra chunks, and the other one's going to have the slice, and the other 3 are going to have the slices. Now I'm going to have to be careful to mark these a little bit, because I have a feeling that pickled okra is going to look an awful lot like pickled jalapenos, but I'm sure we'll keep track of that. At worst, you won't make that mistake more than once, right? Alright, I finished up putting the cut vegetables into the jars. It actually turned out it didn't come out exactly as I thought, because the okra slices took a little bit more space in the jars than I thought, and the thin slices took a little less. So I had originally planned to have 1 of the half slices of okra and 3 of the thin slices. It turned out to be more 2 and 2. So I've got those ready. They're put aside right now, and we're going to move on to the final part, and that's going to be the pickling juice itself. And what that is, remember, this is a half dose that I'm making because I want to try it out and make sure it's going to work well for me. So that's 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of cumin seed, 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes, and 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to pour it over our okra. Alright, I brought my vinegar solution up to a boil, and now I'm just going to kind of pour it into each of the jars. Not sure exactly how much I'm going to need for each of them. The recipe says you can actually top it off with water if you have to. But I'd like to see how much of this I can get in here, because I think you're going to do a better job with more of the brine. Okay, we're going to have to mix that up a little bit more. We may actually brew up a little bit more of the vinegar concoction, because I actually like to top the whole thing off with the vinegar if I can. Alright, so I got the brine all the way up to the top. I placed the lids on it. It's still warm. I kind of shook it up a little bit just to get everything mixed. And we're going to let it cool down now over the next 30 minutes or so. And then we'll put it in the refrigerator, let it chill overnight, and we'll actually give this thing a taste test tomorrow. Alright, about 45 minutes has gone by, and these things have pretty much cooled down to room temperature. So next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in the refrigerator, and we're going to let them chill overnight. Supposedly you want to get them nice and cold, and that's the best way to make all the flavor come through. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow night, and we'll give these things their taste test. Goodbye for now. All right, so it's been a few days now since I shot that last scene. I'd planned to come back the next night and do the all-important taste test, but I forgot the night when I got home from work. It'd been kind of a long day at work, and I was just kind of ready to relax. And then I forgot the next night, the next night, the next night. So it's actually a Sunday now, the following weekend. And these things have been in the refrigerator now for about 4 days. So now we're going to try these things and see what they taste like. Like I said, they look pretty good. And as you recall, I did sliced ones and I did like whole ones, or well, half ones, because my okra were so big that they wouldn't have fit in these jars. But it's been, like I said, it's been soaking now for a couple of days, and we're going to try this and see what it's like. First thing I noticed is that they are still kind of got that little bit of a, I don't like saying slimy, but I don't know what other word to use, texture. I noticed when I pulled them out of the jar that there tended to be a long kind of string that came with them. So, you know, that might be one of those things you just have to learn to live with okra. But it smells pretty good, and let's try this, see what it's like. Yeah, it's not too bad, actually. I wasn't sure what to expect from this. You can actually kind of see the slimy whatever string going from the plate to the okra slice, but it has kind of a good vinegary flavor. I actually think I like this pickling method that I used with the okra better than the pickling method I used with the jalapenos about a year ago. One of the things I like about the that I wasn't as wild about with the jalapenos was that it had kind of a sweet flavor. And I think that was from the vinegar. This is actually an apple cider vinegar rather than a white vinegar like I used before. And I think that and the combination of some of the spices that I included in there, a lot of those spices are the same, but the fact that, you know, there's a crushed red pepper in there, which is a little different from last time, I think that actually helped a little bit. So I might actually use this pickling recipe in the future for making my own jalapenos too. But I think it's pretty good. Like I said, I wasn't sure what to make of pickled okra. I'd never had it before. That's why I made kind of just a small batch of it. I didn't want to waste a whole bunch of okra if it was something I wasn't going to be into. But I like the idea of having the serrano chilies in there. That adds a little bite to it. The crushed red pepper helps a lot. And these aren't too bad. I could see myself snacking on one of these. So there you go. That's our recipe for pickled okra. Turned out pretty good. Like I said, it's got a nice little bite to it. It isn't really spicy, but it's got a little flavor to it. So I think this is a good one. I think I might end up trying this again. And I think that is all that I have for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.